Hello everyone, dear friends. Alexei Nikolaevich sent me a question a month ago, and I just found it, I'm sorry. The question is, Vitaly, may it turn out that we'll see Maitreya and the second coming of Christ as two different people? Why is it necessary for a single person to attend? Why is there not more? You have already made many videos on this topic. All of them give the impression that not just a single person is showing you in the vision, they are several. There's need to understand that when I describe Maitreya, Kalki avatar, or the second coming of Christ, which I had several visions of, I don't look in fact at their external aspects or external qualities. The astral body is all I focus on. Blue light is the predominant color of their astral body. This is the level of spiritual beings who are coming from the worlds of Sri Narayana, from the tradition of Hinduism. And let me say that when I had visions associated with the tradition of Christianity, the astral body of them looked exactly the same. The astral body of that being, personality, or spiritual being who should incarnate as, comparatively speaking, the second coming, resembles the astral body of Maitreya, or the Kalki avatar. Another thing to consider is that in order to attain a certain vision, I require the appropriate materials. I need to understand the energies associated with that or another egregore. Let's say I have to immerse myself in a certain prophecy or prediction, like the revelation of John the Evangelist, and then the vision comes to me. But in the vision itself, in the events I see in our material world, I also see the structure of the astral body. The astral body's structure is shared by all of them. It is, in essence, the same creature. I'm emphasizing that the elements associated with the tradition of Christianity, Buddhism, or Hinduism are what I am trying to explain to all of us. And for this I employ the knowledge that's rooted in a certain tradition. The vision happens with admixtures of the tradition of Tibetan esotericism if this is tradition of Buddhism. If it is in the tradition of Hinduism, then Vedic knowledge is present there. If there is a tradition of Christianity, then it will happen from the standpoint of that tradition. I didn't see two personalities, this is certainly the case. I'll elaborate a bit more. I can't remember the year, probably 4 or 5 years ago, but when we went to Ukraine to the Patch of Lavra, I had a vision related to the Savior's appearance inside the temple, and saw him heading towards the miraculous icons. He was taking in the sights. It was a vision at night, or rather, the sun was rising at around 4 or 5 in the morning. The temple was, of course, empty. When I had a vision of the Savior himself and also a miraculous icon, I kept track and remembered the energies of the so-called Savior. This personality is not on our planet now. It's highly probable that Jesus Christ is in heaven. At this time, there is a different person who, in his present state, is superior to the so-called Savior. This is a much more perfect spiritual being. So perfect in fact that it is impossible to see him. I can't see him at all, for instance. I always try to catch 1 or 2 or maybe 3 elements from his versatility and try to record a video about it based on this material. I try to do as much as possible. It's tough to describe his spiritual attributes. Maybe I'm not quite there yet. But this isn't Jesus at all. In the Revelation is said that someone similar will come. Most likely, this will be a person who will be similar to the second coming, I mean not like the second coming but similar to Jesus Christ. Another thing is that he will have some kind of personal mission, and we should consider that he will be wearing a crimson porphyry, which is a symbol of the fact that he will conduct some kind of military operations. He's going to be stern, he's not going to be kind. Understood, yes? The presence of blood-stained clothing on a person's body suggests the imminent arrival of a spiritual warrior. This person will most likely bring more suffering to someone if Jesus brought love. The tradition of Hinduism has at least these elements in common. Regarding Maitreya, the aspect of spirituality is emphasized there rather to a greater extent. He's a spiritual guide for the Buddhists. In Hinduism, he is expected to be the incarnation of the Lord on earth, as that who will bring suffering and who will destroy all the wicked. I would say that this is a combination of the spiritual element and the material element. But in the Christian tradition, it's also described in its own way. Why must one person come? I never said that one person must come alone. The person described in different prophecies under different names, but with the same essence, is what I see. The visions are spontaneous. Most likely, they're being sent to me by a spiritual force, which could be viewed as a blessing. There's a spiritual element to this. I don't believe there should be just one personality. That's alright if there are 5 of them. Let's say if will come the second coming of Kalki Avatar or Maitreya Magdi Avatar or someone else before that, anyone, so let it be 5, even better, it will be easier for all of us, 5 men will work together to resolve the issue. But I have not seen this. I can't confirm that there are 5 spiritual beings on this planet with the same spiritual abilities. None exist. But you can assume that a lot of them will come, and you can bet that there will be different beings with their own level or realization, and so on. There is no argument I make. Let you consider whichever you like better. I am a very detached person. You asked, why can't we have more? More specifically, why can't there be more of them? I didn't say that he can't. He is capable of doing it, but he is not interested in coming. It's hard to see them. I don't see at least. You can share if you see something. There are already several videos on this topic. I am happy to raise this topic because it is interesting, relevant, and it probably corresponds to the era of our time. The junction of eras and times is what we see. The events happening in the world are truly epochal. These years will probably be remembered by us when we come later to some more mature age as something that forced us to think, analyze, and try to find answers. Considering all these, we got the impression that there was not just one single personality that was shown to you, but there were several of them in the visions you have seen. But this is just an impression, dear friends. Don't forget, I only talk about one thing in each video to make it easier to understand. Let's say I said in a video that this person will have Slavic ancestry, right? He'll be a Slav for life. A Slav, not a resident of the Caucasus, not a Turk, not a Jew, not an European, not an American. There were none of them, only a Slav. I also argued that the knowledge that will most likely be introduced will be associated with the Hindu tradition. There are lights associated with Narayana as well. He's a spiritual being, and the wisdom he'll impart will also be linked to the spiritual realms. Unfortunately, I have not been able to see anything about this element yet. I cannot say specifically what kind of teaching it will be. But for example, I am very impressed by Vanga's prophecy when she said that this will be a new teaching which will be a forgotten old one. I'm not sure I get what it's all about, at the very least. What is meant by a new teaching that is essentially a forgotten old one? Something will come that was a long time ago, it was lost and now it will be returned as if revived. I cannot explain this element. But the basic knowledge that this person will give will be connected with the East, this is unambiguous. I saw at least India and the Vedic knowledge, there are no doubts about this. See, we already have 2 elements. He will be a Slav and an expert of the tradition of the Vedic scriptures, right? I also mentioned regarding the fact that when he will enter the era of his leading position, his connection with the tradition of Christianity will be very strongly manifested. It is also said in the prophecies of the saints that the connection with the tradition of Christianity will be very strongly manifested, or rather the connection with the tradition of Christianity will be revived. Christianity will be reformed by him. If I am not mistaken, in one of the prophecies Father Seraphim of Serav said that the light will be brought out of Devivo. This person will be connected with the tradition of Christianity, but he will not be in the tradition of Christianity itself. The affirmation regarding the fact that the light will be brought out of de vivo. Well, let me to look someday into this prophecy. And this is an indication that most likely the tradition of Christianity in its current state is not entirely pure and capable of leading people. It is not quite adapted for some actions. Most likely the level of inertia will not allow to perform some kind of activity. I also emphasize this element. If you consider every video that I recorded on this topic, there are actually just some elements that complement each other. Understood, right? This person himself is multifaceted. This is not just a human personality. There's not described only the physical body. In one video I describe his spiritual essence. In another video it's described the structure of the astral body. In the third video I describe how he will act. In the fourth video I describe some national signs, events, and the actions that he will perform in the material world in relation to the state or the future. Try to look deeper. We can assume that these will be different personalities, but my opinion is definitely no. It's the same one and the same creature, and in different visions I see him as the same being. There are always certain signs and always a certain qualities. There's presence of light, deepest light, the presence of souls that accompany him and who came with him to earth, and so on. I have no doubt about this, and I did not claim that it would be several people. On the contrary, I emphasized that this is actually the same person. Well, I hope I answered. You can write questions, but the videos require to be rewatched. I said that I have a rather mobile consciousness and I can dive very deeply into the spiritual world. Naturally, for many people similar knowledges may be accompanied by misunderstanding and inability to navigate this or that knowledge. Therefore, in order to draw high-quality conclusions, you can ask questions. Let's clarify. I always try to be in dialogue with all of us, and I will answer under this video what you don't understand. Be sure to write your questions. We'll clarify and study them again. See you.